Welcome back to another episode of the Churchfront Show. In this episode, we are covering some game-changing wireless technology that was just released by Sennheiser. This actually blew my mind once we learned more about what the features they're packing into this wireless system. We got some great new microphones from Shure. This Neodyne, it's going to be a game changer for vocal mics. We got the Stream Deck Studio. So now the Stream Deck can live in a rack mountable position. Plus it's got all sorts of other powerful features, a cool microphone mount for your drum set, and then some huge news from Waves Audio with their new LV1 Classic. So you're in the right place for all of the latest news and updates for worship and production leaders. Let's dive in.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Churchfront Show. We're stoked to be with you today, and we have Jake and Adam here with us as well. And you might be asking, where has this show been? What have we been up to? So briefly, off the top of the episode, wanted to kind of update you guys on why the show hasn't been launching and kind of what to expect down the pipeline of this year and 2025. We have just been on the road. We have been doing so many projects, and as some of you may know, we launched an integration arm last year to Churchfront, and so we have lots of projects, both small to mid-sized churches, as well as larger churches and new builds that we're working on. And over the summer, it kind of all came at once, where lots of projects needed to get started and finished quickly, and so we were working on that. I think we were all on the road a little bit more than expected over the summer, but it was really good to see some of those projects come to completion. And now we're kind of back into a normal rhythm in the fall, and so we're excited to continue to make content. You can expect the Churchfront Show to continue on its monthly rhythm, and maybe some bonus episodes here and there as well. But we're really excited to continue on the path of the podcast. And now that we've kind of gotten through this past summer of completion of some of these awesome projects and churches, we're just excited to spend more time putting out content for you guys. So we wanted to kind of update you guys and let Jake and Adam speak to what to expect down the year as well.
Yeah, 2024, this past summer was it's going to be one to remember. It's kind of like, I think I compare it to like summer school for our team, because we did, like Luke said, we were super busy with so many projects. We had lots of building to do, new systems and such, of how to execute these projects. And fortunately, things went really well. It was a blast learning. It was probably the most exhausting summer that I can remember. But it's cool. I feel like we've really laid a solid foundation for what lies ahead for Churchfront. This is probably, if I look back over the history of Churchfront, the year 2020 was definitely a very important year for us in terms of, because of COVID, and our YouTube channel blew up that year especially. And then 2024, I kind of look at in the same way. Now that we're doing full AVL integration services at Churchfront, it's blowing up in the same way, in a good way, in a positive way. I think we've probably learned more in the past 6 months than we did in the prior 3 years. I know I did, at least. So it's really exciting, guys. So if there's a couple ways to be a part of that. One, if your church is doing a major AVL upgrade in the next few months to year, definitely reach out. Let us know. We can definitely partner with you on that. Churchfront is a dealer for all of the brands of the products that you guys see here featured in our projects on the channel. And so we can help you work on the right designs and solutions for your church. And I talked about this a lot on our Churchfront Live conference talk, so I don't want to rehash it too much here. We'll probably post that on the channel, but I do feel like we are offering something significantly unique in the audiovisual lighting install world and integration world with what we do here at Churchfront. And we're really excited about it. It's only going to mean better content as well for you guys, the viewers and subscribers here on the channel. It's going to mean better courses coming up. So really exciting. So one way to be a part of it is, hey, if you have a big project coming up, let us know. We'd love to help out with you, and we can chat about that, apply for a strategy session there. And then the other thing too is we're kind of working all over the country. We are working all over the country. And we're always looking for local hands to help us out. So I'm going to put a link below for a form to get you on our list of local contractors for us to connect with. It can be, you can have no experience, as long as you have a good attitude and you're a good team player, we're more than happy to train you with basic tasks such as helping us keep the job site clean and organized, helping us pull cable, help us terminate cables, help us build equipment racks, and then of course, if your skills get more developed, we have sort of higher tier options there. So I'll put a form down below. It's a great way to get involved with the Churchfront team and what we're doing and make a little bit of money. So definitely check that out. But yeah, we just wrapped up our conference here October 1st and 2nd, a few days before we were recording this episode. And what an amazing week that was. And I feel like that was a good kind of end to a super busy chapter. So you guys will see those videos coming out from conference pretty soon here. But I'm glad to be back, and I feel like I can look ahead now to the next few months, the next year or so, to some exciting things that we're continuing to build here at Churchfront. So, any additional thoughts to add to that, Adam?
Yeah, the conference, it always feels to me like a family reunion. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but we often have a lot of the same vendors come back. So it's people that we know and work with, over Zoom or over Slack calls or whatever. But being able to see those people in person is always fun. And then with people that we do integration and coaching with, kind of Jake had alluded to this, that it's really unique, and part of what makes it unique is how we have this relationship with people. And so we have people that Luke or I or Jake have helped, like, on site on their church, work with them in person, but also have an ongoing relationship on Zoom. So getting to see those people in person year after year, it's just a great time. And I love seeing all the same folks that would come back and say, "Hey, here's what's new," or "It's good to see you again." And so I love that atmosphere that we have there at the conference.
It's beginning to have some repeat attenders too. I mean, now that the conference has kind of built a momentum and people are hearing about it and they're gaining a lot of value from attending, it's cool to see those return attendees year after year, and they walk away with a lot of different value year to year, which is cool to hear. Kind of they're not just coming for technology advice, and they're not just coming for leadership advice, but between the different times that they come, they're walking away with different tools and skill sets. And I think this year's breakouts, I don't know, I mean, the breakouts have been awesome, but we had so much great feedback about the breakout sessions this year. I mean, obviously the keynotes are top shelf, but then when you get into a smaller room and context with those speakers, the value that they deliver, and I think the takeaways were kind of higher shelf this year, which is really cool to see.
So I'd say we go ahead and dive into our topics we want to cover here today in the Churchfront show. So the first one being the Sunday Sounds, a new feature they released. David told me about this. This is a few months ago, so some of these things might not be that new. We try to be a news show here, but well, again, like we said, we're so busy, we couldn't even find time for the three of us to hop on a call like this at the same time. And one cool feature about Sunday Sounds and the Sunday Keys app is they have this new AI patch builder feature. So you can see right here, Sunday Keys with new AI patch builder. And I think there's a demo video on this somewhere, but it's kind of cool because I think you can just, like, in the same way that you use chat GPT to, like, generate ideas for you or data for you, in the app they've actually built a feature now where you're like, hey, can you just give me a nice keys patch that's for, like, maybe vamping underneath a pastor praying, or like, and then the AI builder will be like, sure, here's a nice cool pad layer with a little bit of shimmer and this and that. And again, you guys can, like, check out the demo videos and try it for yourself, but it's cool to see AI becoming a part of these tools. I think it's going to be more and more common. I would predict that and I literally, nobody's told me this stuff, but I just predict, like, a lot of these tools that we use, eventually you'll have AI able to maybe generate your documents in ProPresenter. Maybe it'll be able to generate your tracks, playlists, and set lists within apps like Multitracks. I think this is going to become more and more common. We're using AI every single day here at Churchfront in what we do, and I think even though it's for more business, media, marketing, I think it's going to become a common thing in these tools for ministry.
I would love to see this, continue, especially then. I mean, if it's possible on something like a keys rig, it'd be awesome to see it also translate onto an electric rig. Because I think the barrier of entry for electric players is pretty high. Like, you feel like you either have to buy a expensive kind of amp emulator, or you have to buy a huge pedal board, lots of pedals, tons of, patch cables, and learn how to use the pedals that you have. But if you had something like this for electric players too, it would really allow, newer musicians to get plugged in quicker. So I love that it's going this direction.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you saw like this little demo. I finally got the screen share this. So it's literally just you go in there, you piano and a pad, build it, and then boom, it just builds it from their library there. So, Adam, go ahead.
I was gonna say this same thing is already uh, being used in audio consoles and DAWs. Like we've already seen it in the mixing space. So I know we're gonna see more and more about that. We're gonna talk about, a little bit more about that later in the show as well. I think we've
Adam,
got a
Adam,
new
please.
Stream Deck device.
Yep.
So we've got this Elgato. This has been out for a little bit, like Jake said. We've been busy here, but we've got this 1U rack unit that has I don't even know how many buttons. Like looks like 24 or so, maybe a little bit more. Two dials and a lot going on here. So I think that they have seen how much they are a part of the broadcast environment and started to build towards, okay, we have a lot of people using this for broadcast stuff. How can we cater to that even more? So this device has yeah, two dials, all these buttons. It's PoE, so you can
Mm.
connect it to your network and get power, and then also connectivity, which I love to see. And they're marketing it for, yeah, this broadcast use of being able to basically use it as a switcher, but also have any other button that you might want to use. So, um, an interesting thing here is that they're partnering with BitFocus, and it's now a subscription that you use. And I don't even know what some of these words mean, like this SNMP. They've got SMPTE support somehow. Um, they've got these APIs. People can build their own, um, you know, integrations. I'm not sure if tally management means like you actually can push it to some devices that they sell that you can attach to your cameras, or if it's just on console itself. But they've also got this crazy NFC button right here. So if you're
Wow.
coming into the studio and you've got a certain layout that you like, you bring your card or your watch, tap it, and now it's your layout that you've got. I mean, it is, like I said, I don't even understand half of the things of what this does.
Yeah, that's cool. I do think I'm trying to conceive. I mean, we'll see if there's a design that comes up for one of our projects that it seems useful or fitting. None of them necessarily jump out immediately. I do feel like this is a little oriented towards the larger control rooms for some bigger broadcast systems. So that's exciting for those types of users. But yeah, I look at those nice like shelf tabletop rack mount little units, and I'm like, that's above. I don't get paid enough to operate one of those. That's above. It's a little out of my league.
It is cool
Yeah.
though that they are expanding a little bit beyond because I mean this is still a Stream Deck, so the Stream Deck has
Yep.
had the same form factor with more or less buttons for how many years now. It's cool to see them exploring other options because it to me that just shows innovation is continuing in the company, and so I'm happy to see that. And I think it could work in if you have a broadcast room in your church, and it doesn't have to be a super fancy environment, but I don't know, it's nice that it's rack mountable. You can keep it clean. um I'm even thinking like we have at our church at Storyline we have a old AJA kind of button panel control that does the routing of the switcher, and of the video router. So if we need to like send a certain feed to a different room, we have kind of like a tactile control there to adjust the routing. And so something like that on this could be kind of helpful if you just needed quick button access. You guys know how much this is retailing for, or how much they're costing?
$8.99.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more expensive than Stream Deck.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. But
But
okay.
like
But
I
I think
said,
what's
it does a lot
cool.
more.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that you can just have it in your network, and obviously they made it more, sounds like more streamlining using the companion software to get it all like synced up to whatever you need to do, instead of like having to have in all of our setups with normal Stream Decks, you got to have them USB-C into a computer somehow in order for them to hit the network and then to be able to start controlling other things. So that seems really slick. At least that's what I'm understanding, because when I look at the
Mhm.
Ethernet PoE, it says network and power, and then there's the USB-C data if you need to connect it to a computer. So I'm wondering if you have to keep it both on a computer or it can just be network.
Mm.
But
Yeah, this is where we need the AI. We need, hey, build me a Stream Deck set of buttons that
Yep.
do these things.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
very,
coming.
very impressive here. I'm scrolling down the page, kind of learning a little bit more. You'd think we'd do a little bit more research before we actually hop on and do the show, but nope. You guys are. This is literally us just reading the news in real time to you. So,
Yep.
anyways, go check it out. All right, what's next?
We got to talk about Sennheiser's Spectera announcement. Did you guys see this? I think we were chatting about it on Slack. But have you guys dove into it at all beyond what we were chatting
No,
about? It
no.
is.
No, teach
This
us.
is really, I think, a good move, and it seems like it's going to be the way that most manufacturers go in terms of wireless and RF. Let's see. I think Jake's got it pulled up, so let me put it on the screen so people can see here. So Spectera, Sennheiser product. And this is going to be a 1U rack unit that fits in, any kind of standard rack. And it's got 64 channels of bidirectional audio. And so I think the traditional route, to kind of put it in perspective for people, is that you used to have either a in-ear monitor pack and and a wireless transmitter for microphones. And those were two separate systems, two separate antennas. And Spectera is combining those two things so that it's one body pack, can do both an in-ear monitor mix or be a wireless transmitter, and it's bidirectional audio over the network. So this is, gone are the
Oh,
days of kind of analog I/O. It's kind of moving into that digital audio environment, and so I think it's really going to change the game. This is going to simplify and streamline a ton. And one last thing that I thought was just kind of crazy is that your antennas now, your antennas that they're showcasing in that video, are now able to be powered and run by network cable instead of coax. So you no longer have to buy the specific ohm cable for a paddle. You can just run a network cable and get your distro real nice and clean. So what do you guys think? I mean, anything come to
Wow.
mind for this stuff?
that's cool. Yes, I mean that's gonna greatly. I mean, if it works as good as they say it does, that's gonna greatly simplify wireless microphone systems.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
I mean, we are putting together generally a single 44U rack for audio, and a lot of times you've got maybe 15U of that is going to be just wireless equipment, and now it's going to
Yep.
be 1U. And also the cabling for it. I mean, the fact that you would have to patch all of these devices into a combiner or a distributor and then run, 3 cables just to have
Here's
RF. I mean,
here's the
it is
kicker.
crazy. Oh
Here's the
yeah, that's
kicker.
Yeah.
That's
a
Yeah.
little
that's
much.
a body pack,
But
right?
think
It's like,
about this.
yeah,
You're getting both the in-ear monitor pack and the wireless transmitter in the same pack. So it's probably fair. It's still probably more expensive than what we're used to, but you would still have to be buying, like, what does a EWD pack cost from Sennheiser for a wireless pack? and a receiver and then a transmitter and a receiver. Like if you add all that up
Yeah.
together, you're probably looking at $1,800, maybe
Yeah.
17. Um, so
Yeah.
2 grand for one that does kind of
Well,
everything
then
would be
how much is
crazy.
the well, yeah, then I'm wondering what about
The
the
rack
actual
unit.
yeah, how much is
I
that
think the
rack?
rack unit is like 7 or 8 thousand. It could be more, but I think that's okay. So
10,000.
10. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So yeah, because then when you start doing some of the math, it's like, well, it's not a whole lot different than the ULXDs and stuff. I think maybe
mhm,
it probably would become actually, yeah, if you run out the channel count difference, like if you really have the 32 ins, versus 32, ULXD channels, then yeah, I think
right.
this is surely going to be more cost effective. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I think on the back of it, yeah, I think the connectivity is Dante. So it would run all in controller and you'd be able to have access to the preamps and things like that right from Dante controller.
I love the antennas being just being cat cable. That's cool.
Yep.
The
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. Okay. So, expected summer of 2025. Come on. We've got like 10 projects before that. It's like there's gonna I
Hey
mean again,
guys,
yeah.
I want to know how much do you trust ChatGPT math?
I trust it
Not
pretty
very I don't
heavily.
I'd say there's probably at least a 10-15% error rate on it, but why? What does it say?
It says grand total for 32 channels of Shure ULXD and 32 channels of PSM 300s with all the accessories is 146,000.
Wow. So, yeah. That
That's
with all the
that
accessories,
yeah.
I wonder what it included in the
Like
accessories.
batteries, charger bays,
Yeah.
cabling for RF, antennas, body
Wow.
packs, transmitters, um, handheld mics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do hope that this goes like their antennas are a little bit more, they're on the higher end for this system than what we would put in from RF venue, but I think the market has to move this way. Like it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see all the other brands kind of see, oh, well, if it's just a network cable for our antennas, can we just remake new antennas that are just network? Our lives would definitely be simplified if we could just
Yep.
run network cable for all of it.
Yep. Well, I love the innovation. I think it's awesome. This is going to force the hand of think of other manufacturers to do some similar things. So, pretty excited about that. I don't think we mentioned it while we're talking about microphones, and I don't know if it's on our notes, but that new Shure microphone capsule that you guys were excited about. What was that one?
The Nexodyne. Yeah, pull that puppy up on B&H. This
Next, Dine.
this mic is so cool.
Awesome, right here. Okay, cool. Yeah, like you've used this, right, Luke?
Yeah, yeah, we have one at Storyline, and it definitely is the next tier up from your 58, your SM58. So like if you have 58s and you want a cleaner, dynamic mic, this mic. I don't even know how to describe it on the show, but the smooth characteristics of this mic are just they're untouched right now. Like we have a U or a S no, we have a ULXD system at Storyline, and we use KSM9 capsules, we use the SE7 capsules, we use some DPA capsules on the top of them, just for different vocalists have different kind of responses on those microphones, and we put one of these wired Nexodyne mics up on one of our vocalists, and we were like astounded. It was so smooth, very clean, like no, it has some sort of rejection on the sides, and it really is a clean signal, so you can boost it really high without having to risk feedback. So I'm really excited. I know it's kind of that next price tier up from a 58, but if you were looking for some permanent microphones in your system, I would definitely put my stamp of approval on this microphone as a product for sure.
Yeah, I want to try some out. Maybe get some at because you they don't have do they don't have the capsules for it yet? that you can just
They
put on
do.
a
Yeah.
wire?
They
Do.
have
Oh,
a
okay.
they have a wireless capsule for it. Hmm.
We
Yeah.
gave one away.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, they did at the
Sweetwater
event.
gave one away.
Yep. That's cool.
That's
That's cool.
that's the other reason to come to the Churchfront conference is there's Sweetwater gave away a Neodyne mic. We gave away some some Sweetwater gift cards. We gave away an acoustic panel set from Prime Acoustic. So the giveaways at the Churchfront conference are a real deal.
Yep. All right, then we've got this other mic, lots of cool microphone stuff. What's this mount that we got here, Luke?
This has just been circulating on my feeds, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I know that when I was a TD, the kind of the rim mount options for microphones were all like these gooseneck kind of flimsy, mounts that would rig to the side of your kit. And I've been seeing a ton of people post about this from Lauten. And one, the Lauten audio mics are really nice and they sound incredible. And they're just kind of I had never heard of Lauten until I saw one at our church, and they're just another really, really great mic option for your kit. Right now we're using the kick drum mic and I think a couple toms, and then this clamp. It almost reminds me of like a newer camera
Manfrotto.
mount arm, yeah, like a Manfrotto arm in the way that it's designed. But it supposedly it is like one of the most rock solid clamps, and you can see in its construction. I don't think it's gonna like flip and fall. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
That's cool.
I'm
Good
impressed.
engineering. Yeah, yeah. I like that. Is just similar technology to like what Manfrotto makes with those little arm mounts
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. Because you tighten this little lever and that will fix it into lock it into whatever position you want. So that's cool.
You can get it. I think you can get it closer to the drum too. Like I think because it's a rotating ball arm, you can get it most of the time. You can get it closer than some of those other kind of they're like spring-loaded clips that we used to have for some of those rim mount situations. So
That is,
yeah, definitely
I
cool.
think, what comes with the MD421 compact. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Uh
So you guys have heard of the MD421,
Mm-hmm.
just standard tom mic for, you know, a long time, especially studio, but used them live as well. And they're huge, right? Like when you've seen them, they're probably 6 or 7 inches in size. And so this guy is smaller, and the clip, if you guys remember, if you've ever used these, the clips on these are notorious for just being kind of a terrible design, to be honest. It was like anytime you're trying to move it, you'd touch the button that would allow it to fall off. So they've put it on a standard mic clip, and made it smaller so it fits, around a drum kit a little bit easier. I think it comes with uh,
hmm.
this clip that we're
Oh
using. So
yes.
imagine the combo of the Lauten Audio clip with the M421
Mm-hmm.
MD421 compact.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So it's a lot smaller, as you can see.
Yep.
I love
That's
that.
cool.
Lots of cool mics coming out.
All right, moving on to Dante controller now has a dark mode. That's cool. So wait, when can we actually use this? Is the update released?
It is not. It is. Let's see if they say. I think they say in this video it's coming out in the fall or quarter 4. Um,
Okay.
I don't. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that complicated of an update. It's just like a UI thing. Like it's just
Yeah.
dark and it is modernized. It doesn't look like Windows 8 anymore, um, which I am very excited about. But as far as the back end, I don't think that anything has actually changed. But just the functionality visually of being able to interact with this interface, I think is going to be helpful for a lot of people. I think we've probably all seen the memes where people are shooting a little video and they're doing a production. They're obviously in a super dark space, and then they pull up the Dante screen and it's like,
Bright white.
yeah, kills
Yep.
everybody. So this is going to be awesome. I'm excited for this. Been waiting for it.
Yep. Very cool. Seems like, yeah, Dante's been going through a nice brand refresh lately on some of the way they do stuff. So I appreciate that. It's good to see they're not stagnating at all or as a products company and stuff. Not that the colors of the software really matter. You just want it to function well, but it's still nice. I like it.
Yeah. I really do appreciate that although innovation is really appreciated in some areas, Dante controller is something that just works well. And so I appreciate that they didn't try to be so innovative that they broke the system in
Mhm.
making some sort of a new user experience. Like it's the same Dante controller, different colors, different UI, but the rest of it. One of the things I wanted to point out to the viewers is the tab view at the top. Like that is I mean, now we're not having to open up, different windows and things like
Windows.
that. I
Hmm.
think you can still do that for what I've seen, but having those different tabs like the device info and that kind of stuff up at the top is just super accessible, and again feels a little bit less like Windows 8, feels a little bit more like a modern UI that you would use in your web browser or on your phone or whatnot with tabs.
It's great. All right, moving on. What do we got next? Oh, waves. Okay, we'll talk a while about waves here. Let's
Yep.
start with the EQ.
Yeah, so this is I like this intro, so I'm gonna let it play. They did a really great job of their marketing here.
I don't know if we have audio for this.
Uh
You'll have to like narrate it for us.
you can see from the text, the opening line, you may
You may
never
never
EQ again.
EQ again.
Yep.
Huh.
Oh
Yep.
no.
So their intelligent EQ system allows you to see if I can pull up the different plugins that they had. So, resonance suppression, intelligent listening, and kind of like their feedback like EQ for monitors. So, but it can be dynamic or static. It can be used live or in the studio. So, pulling out resonances, you can use it for EQ, where you're uh, it's listening to your content and saying this is a bass synth, so you might want it to sound like this within the context of your mix, or EQ
Hmm.
matching. I want my guitar to sound like David Hislop's guitar in there
Mhm.
in a Bethel mix. I mean, just for EQ, but it is pretty wild. Definitely recommend checking out this full video because they explain it pretty well. But yeah, being able to learn the audio and then make adjustments, you can give it a target and then you can match it. Um, the actual UI has very few buttons, so it's more just like I want this to work for me, so I'm gonna choose shape and tilt and learn, and that's about it on what's available here. So pretty crazy. They do talk about you know the fact that EQ has been the same for a very long time. We've got compression that we've got like, de-essers are compressors, we've got dynamic EQs that are compressors or so, it has been a long time, I guess, that EQ has been kind of the same.
I think it's cool too that they're at least from what we've seen from Waves, so most of the recent plugins they've come out with have also had a live version. So I mean, we're going to talk about LV1 here in a second, but like it's nice to see that all this power they're also prioritizing. Hey, you can actually use this live too in your Wave setups and not just in a studio environment.
Yep. Yep. Well, let's move on then to the other big news from Waves. I already released a short video on our channel here. We announced it at Churchfront conference, but we've got the new LV1 Classic. Adam's got it pulled up right there. So this is cool. I was genuinely when they had showed it to me a few weeks prior. I was like this. He showed me the picture. I'm like, whoa, that's like I don't get I don't get surprised that often, but this one surprised me that they're actually coming out with a kind of fully integrated console, 64 stereo channels, 44 buses, 16 preamps built into the back of it, the nice premium preamps. Um, and you're looking at a price tag, I think it's around 8K or something like that for this console. So I also feel like what's great is they pack so much feature and value into it and at a very competitive price point. Um, which, yeah, I mean, it's like your move, uh, Allen and Heath, or your move,
Yeah.
Yamaha. Like, try to,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty enticing. So my main caveat with any new console like this is, like, I kind of rather see other people be the test crash test dummies on these new hardware and such, and see how it goes for at least 12 to 18 months, to help them get some like real use out on the road, out in churches, and then kind of see where it goes from there. Because the LV1 configuration we're used to, with a separate server, host computer, stage box, controllers, touchscreen, that's rock solid. That's got multiple years now of solid performance under it. So that's, just more proven. So I think, especially for a small to mid-sized church, if it's a stretch for you budget wise to make the classic work, I kind of be like, yeah, why don't you wait at least like 6 to 12 months to see how the first batch of these guys work out, for some folks. Uh, but by all means, if you really want one of these consoles, Churchfront, like, we're dealers, so we can help you get your hands on one. But
Hmm.
I also want to be like, this is how I would genuinely feel about buying a new console for a church. So now that like the DM7s have been out for Yamaha for the past, uh it's been over 12 months now, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, those things are getting out on the road. Now we're more comfortable recommending those uh, to churches for new installs and such.
The cool thing, though, and just if people are kind of in that process, this is similar to the Dante conversation we just had, where this is still LV1. The
Mhm.
software has not changed at all. So it's still the same rock solid power, like power horse in the mixing experience. It's really just making that software and the hardware talk to each other, where they'll have some opportunity to, I'm sure they'll work out kinks or bugs, whatever. But at least the console we had at the conference was super fun. It feels amazing. Faders move well. It doesn't feel cheap. Like the hardware could easily at that price point feel like just super super inexpensive plastic, and it actually feels pretty premium. So my one main kind of thing with it is that I would have loved to see them utilize the left hand side of the console for more customizable buttons. Like that'd probably be my
Yeah.
one piece. Is I feel like because they put it on the right side, they probably could have had maybe a bank of 6 or 8 buttons over on the left. I'm sure there's chips and things under there that prevented that, but for me, I would love to see a little bit more custom configuration buttons on the actual surface itself. But we're getting really nitpicky at that point.
Well, also with this, the previous version, or the original, I guess, is a computer-based system. So you would be able to put Stream Deck software on there. On the LV1 Classic, I don't know if we can put Stream Deck software on there because it's kind of locked up
Mm-hmm.
as a console.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yep.
But did you guys hear about this when we were talking to Jeremiah at the conference? 32-bit float?
I did not see that. That's a game changer.
Because it
Yeah, I
just,
did not see it till just now.
yeah, no, they didn't mention that before, but that, remind me and others with the benefits of that.
So it's a kind of a gain structure thing. We have talked about this on the show before, where we would have some of the new microphones that you can buy, like lavs, where if you clip, in a traditional sense where you set your gain, you're going to clip and then you're going to distort. Because it's float, it allows for kind of a more dynamic target, I guess. Is that how you describe it, Luke?
Yeah, it's adaptive, dynamic would be a good word for it, but it essentially allows you. I mean, I've seen a couple of YouTube videos on this stuff where people are just screaming into their mics, and no matter where the gain is set, you have basically infinite headroom. So you will almost, I mean, I on all the example videos I've seen, there's no way to distort your audio. There's always, it's almost the equivalent of shooting in log. if you're talking camera, if that's a good framework of like it allows for the most flexibility in post production to edit and process your input signal. Whereas again, in the past, if you were to clip, it would distort, and then your audio is basically lost. Moving forward.
Yep.
That's pretty
Yep.
cool.
So yeah, I think we'll probably be getting a demo unit here pretty soon. We'll be able to get it up and running at Rock Harbor, and I'm trying to think through what is nice. Like again, a lot of the way we're kind of designing systems, like we're not sticking a ton of audio devices at the front of house tech booth. So that's where I'm like, man, I would rather. I kind of wish they made a version of this that didn't have the preamps in it. So it's like,
Hmm.
or maybe just had you just to like keep the cost down more on some of the control surface side of it. And I'm sure they could come out with variations of it, but then I know there are people who want that local IO or need it. Because
Well,
at front of house, for instance,
think about their other option though, Jake. With the remember like the DigiGrid boxes that you had to buy for the LV1 in the past, those like boxes
yeah,
with
yeah,
the headphone jack inputs, and they're super expensive. I mean, they just
yeah.
like having
Hmm.
some local IO in the console takes away the need for that, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's just it's
Yeah.
sad. I feel like Waves could they'd be so much better if they could either tighten up their Dante integration. This is from an integration standpoint.
Please.
I prefer mixing on an LV1 opposed to any other console out there. It's still my favorite way to mix. But it's just when you tie this into the rest of a system, that's where I feel friction, and that's where I'm like, it's not really this LV1. I feel like this one especially is maybe designed for um, your small like gigging band. If you want to be portable, they have a really great flight case with it. You could get maybe a couple other stage boxes to go with it because you'll probably need more than 16 inputs. Um, I don't know. To me, that's why I'm like I have mixed feelings about some of these features. I think I like also just the customization and versatility of kind of their normal modular system of building it, and it's also a little bit more seems a little bit more flexible if you want to like swap out your server or add one. I guess you could still add a server. Like if you wanted more processing power, you could still like plug in another server to your SoundGrid network here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I still like it's quirky to me, and I think this is because like House of Worship is not Wave's primary focus of a market, and I
Right.
don't blame them. It's a slice of a market, but it's like you're right. Some of these other products for IO, it seems limiting. Where it's like, guys, like if you had something similar to like the Dante Avio adapters for Wave Sound Grid, like that would really open up a lot more possibilities for people. If you maybe had a more affordable stage box, maybe that just ran at 48 uh, kilohertz because 96 is kind of overkill for most church sound systems. That could keep the cost down as well, give people a lot better options. So, I mean, I don't want to tell Waves how to do the product development, but it, I could feel the tension of they're trying to
Yeah.
like develop stuff for like super pro, maybe studio audio touring world, and then there's like House of Worship where it's like, some of these features may be a little bit overkill for House of Worship. But hopefully, this is just the first of many new hardware devices that they're going to start developing.
Yeah. Let's hope. Awesome.
Cool.
There's the LV1.
All right. What do we got next?
Oh, I need you to show everybody this wireless iPad setup that you found on
Oh, yeah.
TikTok. This is really a cool a game changer in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. This is on Colby Grinder's TikTok account. So they've got this wireless iPad here. So they've got it set up so their pastor you can see is like on the left of the screen, and then it screencasts to with this device, an Air server. So this Air server basically will it's like having AirPlay, but it sounds like it's more robust than having like an Apple TV or something. So that I think is pretty enticing for a lot of our system setups where yeah, a pastor just wants a simple ability to AirPlay to something, and also just not have to deal with all the quirkiness of an Apple TV, because Apple
Yeah.
TV is not meant for a production environment where it's like, hey, I just want my iPad to wirelessly stream to this device and get it to my video switcher. So I would check out this Air server device.
I think Adam's got it pulled up on his
Yeah,
screen
if
if you
one of
want
you
to.
guys have it.
Yep. I was just looking at this thinking, how convenient would this be for our breakouts for our conference compared to we had a
Apple
couple
TVs.
people struggling with the Apple TV setup. Or it
Yeah.
was like the remotes were missing, so you had to use your phone as the remote and so
So what's it cost? What's the cost on this little box?
Um, Good question,
so
because
there's the license, but the device itself, maybe it just runs see products, Connect 3.
oh, is it
Oh, there.
$933? So not cheap.
Okay.
It's like a little. It is like a little. It's an Intel NUC. It looks like
But did
that
I
runs
see
the
that
app.
it's universal? It's not just iOS or iPad OS. It's also
Oh yeah, it
Windows
does.
and
Yeah, it
computer.
Correct.
does AirPlay, Google. Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
this is definitely where I would invest the dollars over an Apple TV. Again, if it works as seamlessly as that, that's pretty nice that you would never have to have the conversation with the speaker or something and say, "Oh, we can't mirror your display because you don't have a Apple device," you know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it does say it can handle 12 streams simultaneously. So,
Whoa.
maybe you can have constantly connected streams coming into it and
Oh,
then
that's cool.
switch between them.
Yeah, that's really cool. Oh, and
Hmm.
then you just like you're like over the network, you're controlling it with some network UI to maybe select which inputs you want. That's neat.
That is so cool.
Or
Well,
12 sources on one screen.
Wow.
So,
oh, wow. That's
Huh.
cool. Yeah, you could have people collaboratively share stuff to your screen, but yeah, well, that's a cool piece of tech. I'm glad I was spending my monthly 2 minutes on TikTok, and I came across that. Colby's is like the only account that I really follow on there, and then I'll like I'll post something on our account, and then I'll like not log back onto that app, and then I'll go back and there's like gazillion views and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad all
Yeah.
the bots. I'm glad all the bots are enjoying my content on here.
Tell for those of us who don't know, who's Kobe and what church is he at?
Colby Griner, he's a TikTok creator for worship and production content, and then he's in Georgia, I believe, at or Savannah, Georgia. I think he's at a church there. I can't remember the name of his church, but he's not too far away from where I'm located. He actually, I think he was at a more traditional Baptist church. Now he's at a more modern church. He does some fun videos because he's not just a tech director. He does a lot of like professional broadcast stuff too. So Kobe,
Sweet.
we'll line something up, man, to do a tech tour or something like that with you here, hopefully soon. But
Be fun.
guys, I think that wraps all of our latest news and updates here from the Churchfront Show. Thanks so much for watching. Don't hesitate to reach out if you'd like to work with our team on your upcoming project, or like I said, check out the link below if you want to be a part of that network of install labor around the country to help us out. It's a great way to get some quality time with the three of us here, depending on who's where it is in the country. If it's west of the Mississippi, it's going to be Luke and me probably, and if it's east of the Mississippi, it's going to be Adam and myself, or who knows. It is kind of nice. I feel like the need for me to be on site at all these projects is starting to reduce quickly. So, but anyways, let us know, guys. Reach out down below, and we will see you next time.